Hi everyone, it's Ed from Runnable. I had a really heavy night with my mates from Sheffield actually last night, and so I'm dusting off the cobwebs with a nice run through the woods here, and we've got a fabulous day actually. It's a perfect running day, nice and fresh and sunny, beautiful. I hope you're all having a similar kind of day in terms of weather. Those in the UK, I'm sure the rest of the world you're having it even better. Hope you all had a really nice Christmas, and hope you all drank too much like I did, ate too much like I did, and basically had a nice get together with family and friends, and even, you know, partying to the early hours. So hopefully we all did that, and we're all ready to do it all over again for the new year. But yeah, today I'm just all over the place with my head, so I thought I'd go for a quick run through the woods, and then I'm actually going to log on and do some work, right, as I should do. I've got loads, if you're like me, this time of year with my job, I've got loads of documentation to do, ready for the start of next year, so that I can hit the ground running. So that kind of work is quite, you know, it's the work we all shove to the end of the year, I think, but once you do it, it's quite fulfilling actually, because you feel like, right, I know what the plan is for next year. And it can be a bit like that with running actually. Now's a good time, if you've got a marathon in spring, now's a good time while things are a little bit quiet in between Christmas and New Year, to start planning your routine, your running routine for next year. So that's one of the things I'll be doing as well. I like to shake it up a bit. So in the past I've followed plans, and that's got me through marathons and, you know, served me well. But like, I've now kind of figured out what works for me after 6 marathons and what doesn't. And so it's kind of my plan now. You know, I kind of, I do have a plan, but it can vary depending on how my legs are feeling and stuff like that. So the problem I find with traditional plans is everybody kind of tries to follow them to the dot. And if you wake up one morning and your legs are really stiff, your hamstrings are stiff, and it says you've got to do I don't know, 16 miler at marathon pace, some people will actually go and do that because it's in their plan, and that's where you get injured. So I think it's, once you've got a bit of experience, and I know a lot of you are far more experienced at running than me, you can kind of devise your own plan and then vary it depending on how your legs are feeling and your health is. As long as you eventually do the kind of mileage that you need to, you'll be fine. You don't have to stick rigidly to a plan. That said, it's good to have an outline of what you would like to do on each day of the week, but not necessarily have to do, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm rambling and talking shit again. But yeah, now's a good time to start thinking about that, and start thinking about your goals for next year, whether they be running goals or life goals, or the two are interchangeable as well, right? You can have life goals that include running goals, right? And vice versa. So that's all for me from now. I'm going to do some footage of me running through the woods. I have on me today one of my favourite shoes ever. Yep, Cielo. I'm planning to use them again in a park run tomorrow. I'm not expecting to go particularly well because I'm moaning, sorry. I've still got this hanging cold. I can't shift. But I'm planning to use them tomorrow because it's Endcliffe Park in Sheffield, and the routes, you know, a little bit traily at places. So these are good for that. So I'll give you a kind of lowdown on how they fared and how I fared tomorrow. But anyway, for now, I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Right, so I'm in my favourite woods again in Sheffield, and I'm giving the Cielo X1 a bit of a run out today, ahead of a well, ahead of a park run we're going to be doing tomorrow in Endcliffe Park. So we'll be ending up in Endcliffe Park very soon actually. It's about 3 kilometres away. Oh, scary. Oh, that reminds me actually how when I was a kid I used to play in these woods. I used to pretend I was getting attacked. I think I was into Lord of the Rings and that kind of thing then, and if you look into these woods you can see why. This is the kind of Lord of the Rings type scenery all around me, and I would pretend I'm being attacked by orcs. I think I always wanted to be one of the main characters, possibly Strider, I think. I like the name. But yeah, it's this kind of terrain and beautiful scenery that I love. You know, have a look at that, with woods, with streams and rivers flowing through it, and then you kind of run up a bank and you're surprised by what you see at the top. Like here, this wonderful lake full of ducks, you know, fishermen, place to go fishing. Yeah, this is my kind of terrain. You know, I love the woodlands. I love running through woods. I can't think of nothing better than coming out to a place like this and having a nice run. And that's why I think I mean, there are obviously lovely places in the south as well, but some parts of the north, we've got these amazing woodland areas that surrounds the town. So, you know, when I get to the end of this 3k, I'm going to hit Endcliffe Park, which is where the park run is tomorrow, and that's practically in one close to one of the busier roads in Sheffield called Hoka Road, for those that know it. Big studenty area of Sheffield actually. Let's quickly get across there. So yeah, so Sheffield's kind of surrounded by all these nice woodlands, so you can actually use the woods as a route to get to places. I always feel like in London and around the south, they're kind of separate to the towns, right? You know, you go out to the woods somewhere, whereas in Sheffield, you run through the woods and then you're out into the shopping areas and cafes and restaurants and stuff like that. So you don't necessarily need to drive everywhere. Although the public transport here is nowhere near the level as you get in London, so it is kind of handy having a car. And then if you do want to go out to the Peak District, then you do. It is quite a run. It's a lovely run though. I recommend for those of you runners who come up to places like Sheffield, get out to the Peak District, then you can just run in the beautiful countryside and you can see miles in front of you. Which way should I go? Yeah, let's go this way.
Tricks, but
yeah. So yeah, it's just a lovely part of the world to go running in. A lot depends on the weather in Sheffield, right? I've been lucky today, the weather's pretty good. Often it can be horrendous and then it's not so good, not so pleasant. Let's get past these. Yeah, you can see the damage the storm's caused that we had recently. See with this tree here. Thank you. Yeah, quite a big tree actually's come down there, look. Yeah, it was a hell of a storm, as we had in London as well. So anyway, going back to the Sheffield, yeah, it's such a nice place to go running, and you've got such surrounding beauty in the Peak District that it's kind of perfect. It's not a coincidence that you have runners like Sebastian Coe and Elliot who grew up around here. Sebastian Coe actually grew up very close to where I'm running now, kind of up one of these hills, this up that way. Yeah, so he went to my school actually, but he's a bit older than me. So the school's Tapton Secondary School, and he obviously an absolute hero for that school, what he's done. Never mind his politics, we'll get that for a minute, and just think of what a great runner that guy was. For you, if you're a similar age to me, watching him have a go at Steve Ovett, the two weren't the best of friends, I don't think, and they really were. It was an amazing period in British running where we had two guys at the very pinnacle of the 800, 1500 metres. You know, probably around then we were a bit spoiled and we took it for granted, but we wouldn't do that now. I know we got Josh Kerr now as well, but I kind of look back at that period and think it was probably, for middle distance running, it was probably the heyday for British athletes. But anyway, I'm rambling. The Cielo, going back to the shoe. So what I just done, run through the woods, and now I'm on the kind of more pavement type surface, you know, concrete. It's perfect because you've got a wide landing base, decent grip. It's a nice shoe just to use the rocker just to flow through your stride. It's fairly stable because even though it's a soft foam, you've got this wing plate that keeps your foot nice and locked in. And I think they call it centre path technology, where your foot remains centred so your ankle doesn't roll from side to side, which is what can cause you major ankle ligament problems. So for me, it's, if I'm going to do a race and I can't really predict the surface in terms of how flat it's going to be in places during the race, I stick these on. So for the park run tomorrow, I'll be wearing these. For my midweek league races in Chingford and Trent Park and St Albans and places like that, more often than not I'll wear these because of the same reason. It's kind of trail running, but because that's in the summer, it's a bit more hard and compacted ground. And so I think the Cielo is a real all-rounder, versatile shoe, and I think many people, they use it not just for racing but also for doing what I'm doing today, doing some running through woods and, you know, off road a little bit. I mean, it's by no means a trail shoe, don't get me wrong, but it is durable, and for me it is stable, and it's a lovely ride. So it's one that I do pull out for runs like this. You know, I still got to be careful, you know, on the uneven ground, but I wouldn't. I much prefer to use this shoe than, say, I don't know, Sky Planet Paris or the Edge Paris for this kind of run. And I feel with the wide landing base, you know, it feels a lot more natural for me to run on these surfaces. Anyway, so I guess what I'm saying is, if you want an all-rounder, a shoe that you can race in, a shoe that I feel is stable enough but has a nice soft bouncy ride, a shoe that is definitely quick enough to race but also comfy enough to do your long distance runs, and you're able to go, you know, off the beaten track a little bit in these shoes, rather than having to worry about falling over and not being able to handle tree roots and loose gravel and that kind of thing. This shoe can do all of that. Arguably the most versatile racing shoe ever produced. You know, sure, you guys will come up with better alternatives than I can, because of what you've run in the past. But it's got to be up there. It's one of the most versatile shoes, racing shoes out there, because most of the racing shoes are very narrow. They're doing it to be lightweight. They're doing it for aerodynamic reasons. Like if you take the Wave Rebellion Pro Beta, that I raced in recently, there's no way I'd take that on this kind of run, because the geometry is all wrong for this kind of thing. I'd probably twist an ankle. Same with the original Primex Strung. You know, you'd be risking your ankles while doing this kind of run. Primex 2 possibly, actually, a lot more stable than the Primex original. But there, I would much rather take this Cielo on this kind of run than any of those shoes I've mentioned. There is an exception, and I think Max has mentioned this shoe quite a lot, and that's the Diodora Gara, which again is one of the more stable running shoes, racing shoes out there. It has a plate. The only problem with that shoe is it's not as durable as a Cielo, so that's why I would prefer to take a Cielo on this kind of run, to be honest. Look at this amazing lake with all these ducks. You sometimes get herons here. Oh, bit of a fight breaking out. Yeah, they want to be fed. Yeah, it's a nice place to bring your kids. Sorry.
That's very nice of you.
Yeah, feed the ducks, get them back to nature and off their screens for a bit. It's quite nice. Right, so I should have mentioned we're actually in Endcliffe Park now, where you do the park run, and this is like a bridge you go over when you're running that race. You'll see all this tomorrow. But this race starts pretty much where we are now, near the cafe, and then ends over there on the field. And if you watch my video when I did it last, I got that wrong, horribly wrong, and ended up trying to finish where we started, which was wrong. Anyway, that's all I want to say today. Sorry I've rambled a lot. Hope you enjoyed the scenery though. So this is Endcliffe Park. This is the day before the park run. I'm slightly hungovered, and I have a hangover, let's just say that. And I'm trying to get my head together to start some work. But anyway, this is a cafe. I'm going to get some food now, get a coffee, and then hopefully I'll be a bit more coherent. And I'll see you later. Bye bye. So I've got to another of my favourite places in Sheffield, which is the Botanical Gardens. It's a lovely spot in a part of Sheffield that I grew up in, around here. So I live quite close to this Botanical Gardens at one point. I used to go in there a lot. So you can see inside they've got all these wonderful plants. It's a bit like a mini Kew Gardens, for those that know Kew. So you've got various rooms with different types of plants,
exotic plants from all over the world. Let's have a quick look in here, as you can see. There you go, look. So these heated greenhouses. I haven't been in here for years. It's a bit steamy in here because it's warm. I don't think I can run in here, unfortunately. But anyway, I do think these things are really special actually when they bring a bit of the exotic plants from all over the world to places like Sheffield and London. Nice the water feature. You know, so it's good for the kids to see, you know, the type of vegetation that they're not going to see growing natively in this country. You know, and this is kind of a mini version of what you see in Kew, which is absolutely huge in comparison, but it's still nice cacti, cacti I think is the plural. Yeah, it's lovely. That's what it looks like in spring, which is amazing. That's the final room. There you go. A little tour for you. Right, I'm going to run through the park now. So as you can see, it's a well manicured botanical gardens. They look after it really well. It's got a nice cafe, which I've been to a few times. But generally, you know, if you ask people from Sheffield what their favourite spots within the city, this comes up quite a bit. There's various bits to this, like Japanese gardens, some that are more akin to the English rhododendron bushes, that type of thing. Although I dare say that they came originally from the Far East, right? But they grow really well in the UK. They have amazing flowers, not this time of year though, more like early spring. Sorry. Yeah, you got all these like pathways that they don't follow straight lines, they go zigzag and curve round. So you can easily get a little bit lost within this botanical gardens. But because I know where I'm going, of course I won't get lost. Honourable Ed never gets lost. Well, some would argue I am a lost soul, but I'm not going to get lost in here, that's for sure. So yeah, we're coming out of it now. So it's not a huge place, but it's lovely. It's well worth a visit. Particularly nice in spring, where you get nice pockets of bluebells and, like I said, rhododendron bushes and what have you. So yeah, so that was a mini tour for you. I'm going to hit a cafe now and do some work. So I hope you enjoyed that in my ramblings today, my incoherent ramblings, because I'm still feeling it from last night. But yeah, Cielo's done me proud. Such a lovely shoe to run in. And here's a little board of the Botanical Gardens. You see, such a lovely shoe to run in. So versatile. Definitely will be up there for shoe of the year for me. But I'm not going to tell you that yet. You can find that out soon. But for those who don't want to wait for April for the version, I think it's Cielo X 1.5, I think it is. We keep calling it 2, but I think it's 1.5. I might be wrong. For those that don't want to wait for that, I would say this shoe, if you can get it on sale because of that incoming version, go for it. It's an amazing shoe. Just a bit pricey. That's the only downside at $250. But you can use this for running and racing. Right, I'm going to go in here and do some work. So it's one of my favourite coffee houses on Ecclesall Road. And I'll see you later. Bye bye.